So, we all know that this year has been relatively light for game releases, especially when you compare it to, whenever there's not a global pandemic happening. It seems that working from home has had a much bigger effect on game development than any of us could have ever thought at the beginning of all of this. But there is definitely some good news, and that is that fall seems to be lined up with a lot of bangers. So I figured I'd just have a bit of fun and make a video of my most anticipated upcoming games from this fall. But I'm probably going to leave Halo Infinite out of this video, and the reason for that is if you follow me on Twitter, if you subscribe to my channel, if you've seen any of my videos, you probably already know that I am really looking forward to that game. That it's my most anticipated game for 2021. So I don't need to keep saying it. So I'm going to be focusing on all the other different games that are coming out this fall, this holiday season, that I personally am most excited for. So with all that being said, let's get right into the video. Up first is probably my most anticipated game that isn't Halo Infinite, and that's Dying Light 2. I've mentioned a few times on this channel that the original Dying Light was one of my most played games on Xbox this past generation. And Dying Light 2 is looking to expand tenfold on what made the first game so much fun. Set 15 years after the zombie outbreak, one of the many things that has me really excited about Techland's sequel is the fact that they really seem to be expanding on the RPG elements. In the recent deep dive into the gameplay from last week, they talked a lot about how the decisions you make in-game can not only affect the outcome of the game, but the entire environment within the game. There's also different factions that you can fight against or be friendly with, and it's exciting to think about how those decisions can affect things within the world. And they're doing all of this on top of what looks like an insanely fun gameplay loop. And it looks like they're expanding on the parkour aspects of traversal as well, with things like actual wall running this time around. Not to mention that this game looks absolutely stunning, and it's set to drop just in time for the holidays with a December 7th release date. I cannot wait to boot this up on the Series X. And sticking with the zombie theme, I figured I'd talk a bit about Back 4 Blood. I mean, I missed out on the whole Left 4 Dead craze back in the day, but this game looks like it's right up my alley, to be honest. I'm a sucker for FPS games, and adding zombies and co-op into the mix just looks badass. And it also looks like it has some surprisingly good gunplay, which is something that I always feel that zombie games tend to not do particularly well, but that really doesn't look to be the case with this game. The guns look like they pack some serious weight, and the reload animations are strangely satisfying to me. And there's this interesting card system involved in the game, where at the start of the game a set of cards gets played which have effects on the environment and the zombies you'll encounter in that environment. And then you and your squad get to choose your own cards to combat the effect of those cards during gameplay. It's a system that was made with the sole purpose that was giving the game some great replayability, so that matches feel and play different every single time. And with a co-op game like this, I think that's really important because a lot of co-op games are fun for a while and then the appeal starts to wear off, but thankfully the devs have this system in place to keep things fresh and interesting each and every time you play. And with the release date of October 12th, we won't be waiting too long to get our hands on it. And up next is Battlefield 6. Now, I'm going to keep this one relatively quick because we don't know anything about this game yet. The only thing we know for sure is that it's going back to its modern roots after the last two releases in the Battlefield series. That being said, I'm excited to finally get a new modern Battlefield game. I've always enjoyed my time with Battlefield multiplayer, and I've got high hopes that I'll be enjoying this one too. The only thing that has me a little worried is this rumor of the game not featuring a campaign. I really hope that we're able to get a new Battlefield campaign because Battlefield has had some awesome campaigns over the years. Either way, I doubt we'll be waiting long for verification on this though, as I'd be willing to bet we get more info on this game at Xbox's E3 presentation on June 13th. Right now, we don't have a definitive release date for Battlefield 6, but it is known that it is set to release sometime fall 2021. And finally, I want to talk a bit about Far Cry 6. Now, I was late to the Far Cry series, but ever since Far Cry 4, it's been one of my favorite series. It's always got some of the best villains that gaming has to offer. I mean, Voss in Far Cry 3, Pagan Min in Far Cry 4, Joseph Seed in Far Cry 5, all of them iconic in their own way in the Far Cry universe. And with the introduction of Giancarlo Esposito as El Presidente in Far Cry 6, I have a strong feeling that this could be one of the best villains the series has ever seen. If you've watched Breaking Bad, then you know all about this guy. I mean, Gus Fring is one of the greatest villains in television history as far as I'm concerned. And it's not because he's crazy or unhinged, it's because he's extremely calm and in control and incredibly confident. And if he manages to bring just 50% of that to his performance in Far Cry 6, then I think we'll be in for a real treat with this game. Not to mention, Far Cry is consistently one of the best looking games to release each generation, so it'll be a nice showcase for whichever console you're playing on and everyone's shiny new graphics cards. And last week we got a nice look at some of the gameplay and custom weapons that you can make in the game, and it looks absolutely nuts. And as always with any Far Cry game, you can expect to run into lots of different wildlife in the game. And we've even got an official release date from Ubisoft themselves set for October 7th, 2021. And you can bet I'll be there day one for this game. And that about wraps up this video, but what are your most anticipated games for the rest of this year? It doesn't even have to be fall releases. I mean, maybe you're looking forward to something next month or later this summer. Let me know in the comments below what has you excited right now. And remember to like the video if you're enjoying the content, and hit that subscribe button and ring the bell because that really helps the channel out a ton. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.